The MCP technology has been out for a couple months, and so far a lot of the MCP servers are either hard to install or does not work at all. I have made several tutorials covering a wide variety of MCP servers on my channel, and I dreamed about the savior that makes one MCP that connects to everything with ease. I think we're halfway there now. Zapier just announced their MCP, and this is huge, because Zapier provides integration and automation for over 8,000 apps. With their MCP, it means that we can now connect AI to thousands of apps, and the setup is super easy. This all sounds very positive, and everyone on Twitter or X is talking about Zapier MCP now, but is it really that good? I'm gonna share my unbiased opinion with you. It is pretty good, but not very usable at the moment. I'm gonna show you some demos and share why I think it's not usable at the moment. Without further ado, let me show you how to use it. Go to this site, zapier.com/mcp. I will leave the link in the description below. Click on the Get Started button. Register your free Zapier account if you haven't. And by the way, this MCP service is free with some limits. In my opinion, this limit is what's making this not very usable at the moment. I'll talk about it later. This is the page where we generate a URL for the all-in-one MCP server. And it is also the place that we can configure the 8,000 automation tools connected with Zapier. Click on Generate URL, copy the URL, and if you need to generate a new URL, just click on this Rotate MCP Server button, which is what I will do after filming the video because you don't want to share this link with others. Now we go back to Cursor, open the MCP settings, and we can say goodbye to all the other MCP servers. I'm just kidding, although Zapier connects to AI, there are still a lot more things that it cannot do, but still this Zapier MCP is very powerful. You want to give it a name, I would just call it Zapier, and the URL is what we just copied. Save the file, close it, and we see a green dot. I'm all tears now because I've never had an MCP connection done so easily. So far there's only one tool showing up, and let's go back to the Zapier MCP site. Click on this Edit MCP Actions. This is where we add tools and other automations. Click on this Add New Action. Let's first add two Gmail tools, one for sending email and the other for reading email. You will need to connect your Gmail account here. I will just select Have AI Guess a Value for these fields to subject and body so that when I use these tools, I can dynamically send emails to different people with different subjects and titles. Enable action to save, and then we create another action, Gmail Find Email. We've already connected to our Gmail, and for the search string, I will also leave it as AI Guess a Value so that we'll be able to search email on demand. And now we go back to Cursor, click on this icon to refresh the Zapier MCP. So there we go, now we have two new toys, Send Email and Find Email. Let's chat with our AI, which is the Cloud 3.7. and ask it to send ourselves an email with a weekly schedule. It takes a little time for this to go through because it has to go through Zapier, and which then has to call the Gmail API. So we just have to be patient. And our Gmail just arrived. We just used AI to call Zapier MCP and send ourselves an email. It's such a great achievement, but with super redundant steps. Okay, now let's ask AI to search for an email with the title Weekly Schedule. And I'm going to close down this chat window and open another one so that it doesn't have the previous context. And because we've given Zapier MCP the Find the Email tool, so it's able to find the email with the title Weekly Schedule. If you enjoyed this kind of videos, please subscribe to the channel and like the video so that more people can see this kind of content. I really appreciate your support. Next, let's add tools to use Google Sheets. I want to move the schedule from my email into a Google Sheet. So we're going to add the Create Spreadsheet and also Create Spreadsheet Rows. And as you can see, there are many Gmail related actions, and this is another frustration that I had, which I'll share later. But for now, just remember that you want to use the Create Spreadsheet, not Create Worksheet. And you also want to use the Create Spreadsheet Row, not the Update Spreadsheet Row, and also not the Create Multiple Rows, because those don't work. And because we have already connected with Google before, we are automatically connected here. And I will just leave these fields as blank as well. So have AI guess a value so that we can have more flexibility when creating these Google Sheets. Now we go back to Cursor, refresh, we see those two new tools appear. For the prompt, I'm going to say create a new calendar using Google Sheets. The sheet should have two columns, day and activities. Now Zapier MCP goes out to create a new Google Sheet, and then it starts to insert our schedule into the same Google Sheet. As I mentioned before, our AI has to communicate with Zapier first, and then Zapier makes the call to Google services. So it's quite slow at this point, and it takes about 20 seconds for the next data entry. Now we have our schedule inside the Google Sheet, and I want to actually put this schedule on my calendar, on my Google Calendar. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect my Google Calendar with Zapier. Same thing as before. We search for Google Calendar, and there are several different actions to take. You don't want to use the create the calendar because that does not work. The one that you want to use is create detail events. We connect with Google Calendar and we leave all the fields as have AI take a guess and enable to save this action. Go back to Cursor and we're going to ask Cursor add this schedule to my Google Calendar from Monday to Sunday. And just to avoid confusion, I'm actually going to give the dates Monday, March 24th, 2025 to Sunday, March 30th, 2025. This way we're clear, and then the AI will know which day to add the calendar to. And now our AI and the Zapier MCP start adding events to my Google Calendar. Again, it works, but it's a bit slow. But I assume because we don't really need to watch this in real time, so the speed is not that important. So next, I want to show you how to connect with several of the instant messaging software. Let's first try to connect with Slack. Essentially, you want to find the Slack tool within Zapier and connect with Slack. Once we have that set up, now we have the Slack tool connected with Zapier. So remember to refresh our Zapier MCP within Cursor. And in Cursor now, we can say, send my schedule to the Slack channel test so that my team member can know my schedule. And the Zapier bot send our schedule to the Slack channel. So next one I'm going to show you is connecting to Discord. First thing, we go into the Zapier MCP settings and we find the Discord tool, connect to Discord. And there's one thing that we need to know for Discord is that we need to know our channel ID if you want to send a message to a channel. So how do you find this channel ID? On the Discord user interface, there's a wheel icon beside your username. Click on that wheel icon and go to advanced option. And in advanced, you want to enable developer mode. So once you have this enabled, go back. And now you can right click on one of the channels. You should now be able to find the channel ID. So copy the channel ID. Now we can instruct the AI to send this message to this specific channel ID because otherwise it does not know which channel to send the message to. There we go. Now we have the AI send our schedule into the Discord channel. I've shown you 5 integrations: Gmail, Google Sheet, Google Calendar, Discord, and Slack. And there are thousands more integrations that you can connect to with the Zapier MCP. So it is powerful indeed, but why I think it's not very usable now? That's because of the usage limit. If you look at their FAQ on their Zapier MCP site, it says that the Zapier MCP is free, so thank you Zapier for that. And there is a rate limit. It's up to 40 tool calls per hour and 80 per day and 160 per month. So during my testing, I don't think I've used nearly 40 calls within an hour, yet I get a lot of error messages saying that I've exceeded my usage rate. Within one testing where I was trying to read the email and then put the calendar in my Google Sheets, just within that one testing, I think it probably took maybe less than 10 tool calls, and then it kept saying that the usage exceeded the rate limit. It's also funny because they say there's a limit, but you can actually get around it by going to the site where you generate the URL. All you need to do is just rotate MCP server, and this will give you a new URL. When you see that you're over the usage limit, all you need to do is just rotate MCP server to get a new URL and copy that new URL into your cursor mcp.json file. and refresh, and that seems to help bypass the rate limit. I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is intentional, but in my testing, I've pretty much rotated at least 10 MCP servers. I used 10 different URLs just to make this video. So that's what I mean by not usable. Like, it's very powerful, but if it does not even do one thing from start to end, the user experience is quite bad, to be honest. To be fair to Zapier, they just announced this like yesterday, so I know it's very new, and then I know it's also in beta stage, so I think it's understandable that the user experience isn't quite there yet. Another frustration that I had was with the thousands of integrations and actions that you can take for all those automation tools. For example, inside the Google Sheets, there were create worksheet and create spreadsheet, and there were also create rows, update rows, and create multiple rows. So as a beginner of using Zapier services, I wasn't sure which one to choose from. So I had to do a lot of testing to figure out which action does what. And I wish there is a more clear documentation on steps or what actions should we be taking for what use cases. And I think that will help a lot for new users. So as a conclusion, I think Zapier MCP is very good, very powerful, but the user experience isn't there yet. And if Zapier can improve the user experience, especially around the usage rate, as well as maybe a more clear documentation on the tens of thousands of actions, for example, like under what scenario you should use which action, then it will be great. And I really look forward to seeing how Zapier can improve this tool. If they can solve the 2 pain points that I mentioned in the video, I think I'm gonna pay for this service and to use this all-in-one MCP, because it really is that simple to use. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.